And we're live, and it's Game Changers with Vicki Abelson, and my guest today is my friend Roslyn Kind. Hi, Rozzie.
Hi, Vicki. How you doing? How's my girlfriend from New York doing?
You know,
last time we shot this shit, we schmoozed.
We schmoozed. And I do feel like you're my girlfriend. You know, I just got Anson Williams called a little while ago because I was thanking him Anson's the one who nudged me to reach out to you. I was a little intimidated.
Really?
And he said, we have to meet. He said, you guys are going to love each other. You're going to love Rozzie. You have to. And
but that was before the first time.
That was before the first time. That's right.
Yeah.
And
he's a doll.
He's such a doll. And he, oh my God, he was so taken with you. He loves you. Yeah, he really does. He's crazy about you. And I really feel that we are girlfriends. I mean, we've hardly spent time together or anything, no. but I feel like we are girlfriends.
Well, the last time we really, we connected, and it was because we were from the same backgrounds, and we didn't even know the camera was there. We were ignoring the camera, remember? I recall.
We were. As a matter of fact, I don't know. I don't think I took questions until like the last second. I think we asked a couple questions, and it was just such a free-flowing conversation. Yeah, and it was getting to know each other. And I have seen you in the real world. I saw you at, it was Rip Taylor's memorial, I think, right?
Right.
I think I saw you there, and maybe at one other event. But okay. So Rozzie, tell me. Because you're a COVID crazy a little bit like I am, right?
I haven't been anywhere.
Okay,
I haven't been anywhere. I am a homebody. Once in a blue moon, after I had my 2 shots, I met a friend or something outside to eat, but not every day.
Right.
I'm getting tired of my own cooking. I'm just like, it's really gotten to me. I was able to handle it in the beginning because I am basically a homebody, So I'm fine being at home, but I started talking to the walls. I mean, I'm saying to myself now, my God, Rozzie, you're talking to yourself.
I do it all the time. It's terrible. But when we're out in the world, like if I'm in the car and I'm talking to myself, like people think I'm talking on the phone, so they don't care,
Yeah.
I don't know. You can get away with it now.
I remember seeing you when you were online with your car getting your shot to get your vaccine.
Where did you get yours done?
At Rite Aid. I got a Moderna.
And I have Moderna too. And did you have side effects?
I had, just pain in the area, and then a little bit my tendons up and down the arm for a while. But that was it. And then I got a rash that it didn't hurt, it didn't itch. It just was pink there for a while underneath where the shot was.
I had that rash also, and it didn't show up for like the first 4 or 5 days. And then all of a sudden it was there, and it was there for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I didn't notice it either. And when I did, I right away called my doctor. I sent him the picture. I said, do I have shingles? Right away, that's where my head went.
And did you get the shingles vaccines?
No, I haven't done that yet.
Okay, neither have I. I haven't gotten the pneumonia. It's like I'm gun shy.
I haven't either. I'm a naturalist. I'm on vitamins. I take things to keep my immune system up. I eat healthy. I eat fruits and vegetables and grains, and I never really had a flu shot. I don't get flu shots.
I didn't either, but my doctor made me get it this year.
Really?
Last year. Yeah.
I haven't gotten it. I'm still fighting it because I take this stuff that really, even when I had a bad cold, makes it a lot less.
What? Tell us. We need to know.
Am I allowed to do a commercial?
Yeah. We're not getting paid for this.
It's called Immunical, and it's by Immunical Research in Canada. And it's the ingredients that builds up your glutathione, which is the most.
Oh my God, I don't even know what glutathione is. What is that?
The most important antioxidant in your body that we are born with. And as we age, it depletes. I've been taking this stuff every day for probably more than 12 years.
You're kidding me.
No, it's a powder, and I put it in some, flavored water already in the morning.
Right.
And drink it down. Now I have it with my probiotic, my prebiotic. It's like. But
I want to know everything you're taking, but now, okay, so you've been taking this. Do you order it online? How do you get this?
Yeah, well, I did order it online, and I think now there are people that sell it here. It's a big company.
Oh wow!
But I believe in it because when I used to get a cold years ago, I would get so blocked I thought I was going to die at night. not breathing. That's how
Wow.
blocked I would get. And when I got my body acclimated with the Immunical, when I've got a cold now, it's like sniffles, constantly sniffing in, but never that blockage.
Okay, so what else do you take? Because I take so many supplements. People yell at me that I'm
Right.
taking too many supplements. What else do you
I'm
take?
working now with a nutritionist, so it depends
Oh.
on what's going on. So I mean, I take something to get the toxins out of your liver, which is like chlorella and oh God, I always forget the name of this one, but it's an important one. Should I take a look and go through?
Yes. Okay, so you're getting the toxins out of your liver. I'm gonna
Spirulina, and I take artichoke, and I take biotin, and I take vitamin D, and I take CoQ10, and I take Selenica. Selenic.
I don't know what that is.
For your whatever. I mean, I take certain ones before in the morning. I take in the morning before I eat anything. And then after breakfast, I have to have a protein. And then I take some of the others. And then in the afternoon with veggie juice or vegetable soup, I take the next bunch of them. I take curcumin. I take artichoke. I take.
What's artichoke for? I've never heard of that before as a supplement.
It helps cleanse out toxins in your liver and everything, because we take so much in the air and everything we breathe.
Right.
It kind of helps you keep
detoxify.
Yeah.
Do you take anything? I'm doing all about inflammation now.
You just froze on me.
Oh no, I think I'm still moving.
Hello, Vicki.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Oh no.
I hear you, but you froze.
I'm here. I'm looking at us on Facebook. We're still moving, so I don't know what that is. Okay. So do you take anything for inflammation? Because that's my latest thing. Is I'm trying to find.
I take something called Heal and Soothe.
Okay.
Which has all the antioxidants and enzymes for pains in your fingers or things, or if you have anything, I get cramps too. As we get older, it's like amazing what goes on. Right?
Oh my God.
So I take this Heal and Soothe, and then and I take curcumin in the afternoon.
Curcumin. I don't even know about that. I know about quercetin. It's not quercetin?
No.
No.
Curcumin. It's one of the ingredients in turmeric.
I take turmeric, but it's better than turmeric?
Well, she has me on it. But turmeric I will add to my foods. Turmeric and black
cinnamon,
pepper,
cinnamon,
Ceylon cinnamon, really good cinnamon. Ceylon always organic. I'm
calling you on the side. I need the whole break. All right,
maybe I'll show them.
Maybe I need to talk to your nutritionist. Is what I need to do. So, how are you? I know you eat amazing. You've been a healthy eater for years. So, how have you eaten your way through this pandemic? Like, what are you doing?
I've lost weight during the pandemic.
Oh my God, you're killing me. But you're so disciplined anyway, though. I
never was as a kid. If you ask any of the kids I went to school with, I used to be the chubette of life. And I don't mean the chubette. I mean, you wouldn't even recognize me.
Okay, so how did that change? When did that change? What stopped that?
The beginning of that was when I was 14, and I had an aunt who was related to me through marriage. She wasn't my blood aunt. And she took me under her wing. She was in her 70s. And I was 14 and chubby. And she took me to a diet doctor. Really those things that you shouldn't do with the colored pills. Remember years ago?
Right. I didn't take them, but I knew the little blue pill.
And I lost 60 pounds in 4 months. And then the next
How old were you?
14.
14.
And I went to my regular internist one day because I hurt my 2 pinkies playing basketball at school. And he walked past me because he didn't recognize me. And when he saw me and I told him what I was doing, he stopped it and even called that doctor and told him, don't give that to a child. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then it was years of trying. He says, you eat less and you exercise more, And then I've been to quacks. I did Atkins. I did, up and down. It was the hardest thing. But
did you change your eating when you were doing those pills?
Yeah, I ate very well. Not like I eat now.
Okay,
wouldn't
so
go through
how did
it.
that come about? Because I know you're really disciplined about your eating. When did that happen and what made that happen?
Just all of the years. Well, first of all, when I had even when I was signed up with RCA, they threatened not to put my second album out if I didn't lose weight, because I was still like 140 pounds or whatever. And they weren't going to put it out if I didn't lose weight.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, I went through so many things. I used to go to Elizabeth Arden 3 times a week when I was 17 and do exercise and steam cabinet and massage and everything. But it was when I moved out here, everything changed. This is a health, in LA, it's like a healthier lifestyle. It's a healthier
Right.
life. You become more aware of your body and everything. And I exercised like a fiend. And
Okay, so what kind of exercise? What do you do for
I
exercise?
worked out years ago. I worked out with Body Design by Gilda. Do you remember that one?
I do remember
And I
that.
did go to Richard Simmons for a while.
Linda Apsey's on here and she's telling me to give her a shout out. And I know Linda worked out with Richard Simmons also.
Oh,
That's
he's
hysterical.
He used to go to his class. He'd have you down on your back with your legs like this. And he'd say, look at you. And you have the audacity to say, touch me in the morning to your husbands.
Oh my God, that's hysterical.
But, it's still, so that was another step. But and I was just watching what I ate. I went on different diets where I only had 1 meal a day or whatever. Now I don't know. I thank God I love fruits and vegetables and I don't eat so much meat anymore. It's a little more fish, but I tend to be even more vegan than I am meat and fish lately, or chicken.
So where are you getting your protein? Legumes, beans?
Legumes and beans and quinoa and things like that.
Is quinoa protein?
Yeah.
It is? I didn't know that.
It has
Okay.
protein in it. It's high protein. And what else do? I do lentils. I have recipes from my nutritionist too. So I make my own lentil soup with red lentils and butternut squash and the cinnamon and the turmeric and the Indian spices. What else do I do? I take just my vitamins. During the pandemic, I didn't go work out or anything. It stopped, and I got myself a bike, not a Peloton, but I got a bike that I work out on. And now, I don't do it every day, which is bad. I don't do it every day, but when I do it, I try to do like 80 minutes and burn 1,000 calories.
80 minutes you do?
When I get on and I'm feeling really awake and stuff. Even at night, if I'm watching TV, I'll ride the bike and I try to get over 1,000 calories now. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know whether to, all my family, my nephew always said, you don't eat enough. You don't eat. I don't know if it's because I take so many vitamins and you fill up, But it's like
vitamins do not fill me up, Rozzie. So do you not have an appetite, or are you?
It depends. Some days I'm really hungry, and some days I'm not. But I just noticed that I'm so aware of what I'm putting in my mouth that if I don't have that, and it's something else that I really want to stay away from, I'll put it off rather than eat something really fattening. Like even if I go for once in a blue moon, like a few weeks ago, I had a filet mignon. It was 8 ounce, right? I sent half of it for my little 4-legged Jason's puppy, Eli. He had half, because I can't finish that, but I'll eat vegetables, I'll eat salad, I'll eat, and I love fruit. It's crazy. I can't tell you, as a kid, I was a big meat eater. I could put away, a really big steak. I can't even look at that anymore.
Wow. And so do you order in, or are you purely cooking?
I did sometimes, but most of the times I'm ordering in. I did Instacart and I did Whole Foods.
Right.
Unfortunately, you don't always get the pick you want, because I would have picked a different piece of fruit. Or, I don't like the bruises and I like it. So it's, it's crunchy and it's like,
right.
So you can't always get what you want. But what could we do? That was what life was like, it's amazing.
And how about now? Are you going to supermarkets now? I'm
going now, double masked. And just for everybody out there, in case you don't know, there's a great mask that's 6 layers called Evolve Together is the company.
I got Evolve
Did you get it?
together.
And they have 6 layers.
To me, it feels flimsy. I like my KN95s that I got on Amazon better. They're thicker. I feel like my Evolve together is too thin. It doesn't feel thick enough.
Really?
It
Which
is
one
all
did
those.
you get?
I got the one with the piece here and the
Yeah.
KN. Yeah, to me,
Yeah,
it
you don't
feels.
like that? I find it thick enough.
I don't
It's
know.
very
I wear
different than
really
the
thick
KF95 that I had before, but when I go into the grocery, sometimes I only did that lately where I'm wearing it mostly by itself, but mostly if I go into anywhere that's enclosed with, to eat or whatever, I'll wear double mask in the grocery store or whatever.
Have you eaten indoors in a restaurant? I haven't done that yet.
Just twice.
Oh, yes, actually, I have to.
When they checked for that you were vaccinated and everything was separate. And actually the trick is to go off hours.
Right. And have you felt, I did it twice because I had to. I was with family and we couldn't, but I didn't enjoy my meal. I was too anxious, even though there was like not another table.
The first time we went out to dinner was it a year ago Passover? Was it a year ago Passover? Yeah, was it a year ago that we got the first shots? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because I didn't have my booster till like 9 months later. So, the first Passover we went out to eat and we were sitting outside, but I was right on the railing where people were walking by, and Elliot and I were the only 2 vaccinated. My nephew hadn't gotten vaccinated yet. And a couple of the friends at the table didn't get vaccinated yet.
Wow.
I was like, every time somebody passed by, my mask went on. I wouldn't drink. I didn't eat like a regular meal. I was like so afraid to open my mouth.
Yeah, I know.
Really
I so relate to that. So, but I got really sick of cooking. I never cooked as much as I cooked the first year and a half of the pandemic. I cooked every meal. Yeah. I did the Instacart thing. I hated the fruits and vegetables that were coming. Everything was a mess. Right? I was throwing things away because they were gross.
I kept putting in my notes, check the best buy on the label. It should last at least 2 weeks.
I know. But I got, when we had that false sense of things getting better, well, not a false, for a little while there, when we were double vaccinated, I was eating out at restaurants a lot outside, but doing that a lot. And it felt kind of normal again. And I wasn't cooking. Then I went on Jenny Craig. I'm sure you've done Crazy. I don't know if you've done that one, but everything. It's horrible. Everything is chemical. It's all bad. It's all preservatives. And, I lost the weight, but I don't want to eat that way. Yeah. So, but then I didn't cook for like 4 or 5 months. I was just eating their food. Right. So now I'm at a place where I'm trying to do the Mediterranean anti-inflammatory, which it sounds like you kind of do.
What I'm doing. I'm on an anti-inflammatory diet. I have veggie soups with the certain spices, good water or vegetables broth base, or I use bone broth or whatever. And the veggies, I have all different kinds of recipes that my nutritionist gave me. And I mean, I used to cook, I cooked with my friend. You met David one of the times we were.
I love David, yes.
We were cooking with each other over the phone, cooking the same soup.
Oh.
I'm cutting the onions now.
Oh my God. But okay, so you've been doing this. So Omicron came. Did you get back out in the world a little bit after the vaccine?
I didn't go to Anson's birthday party because I was still afraid. I don't know who, what, where, and when. And if, and I didn't, because I'm older and this is my career. And I didn't want anything getting into my lungs, or affecting I was really, so I have not been indoors. I haven't been to the museum because I don't, until I'm assured. I have not traveled. I have not been on a plane. I've only been with people that I know are vaccinated. I haven't been in the studio that much either. And right now, though, we are editing the video for the Kiss Her Now medley.
Yay!
Yeah. So hopefully that'll get out. I have other stuff that's waiting to be a video before I can put it out, but I haven't really been there. I went twice after the first 2 shots, but because of the masks and everything, and we're in a tiny space, The mask was like drying me out. I couldn't, my cords weren't free. So we started on another number, but I haven't gone back yet.
So were you socializing? Like I did go to Anson's, but it was outside. That's the
I
only,
know.
and it's the only thing I've been to in 2 years.
And he assured me, and he said to me, Rozzie, if you don't go, so he wrote that you'll come out on a weekend, I'll give you your section of the house. And I'll give you, he's such a sweetie pie. But I just, I just went to my nephew's in Santa Ynez a few weeks ago for the first time since the pandemic began.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you that. Okay, now why wouldn't you? Like I've seen my kids, but they have to take a test. I take a test. Everybody.
We don't force each other to do that. And he was out there more. He's out there a little more. Very careful, but out there more. And my family knows. It's like even when they came in, my family flew in from New York, New Jersey. They have to get tested, and I'll eat outside with them, but it's just not the same. And it's like, and for a family, last Thanksgiving was the first time, other than my sister's birthday, where we had, for her birthday, there was that clarity. We had the shots, but there were only people there that were always at home and had their vaccines.
Right.
And so the same thing was for Thanksgiving.
So Thanksgiving you did inside?
Yeah. But it was only people that, close in the circle that were all vaccinated and all stayed home.
So have any people in your circle gotten COVID?
A friend of mine had it before there was she had a little something before the vaccinations came out. She's okay now. Nobody really close to me.
Okay, that's a miracle.
Close to me. But I have neighbors that I haven't seen in years. I barely see them come out of the apartments.
Wow. And so what is a day like for you, Rozzie? So will you go out for a walk?
There are times I went for a walk, but mostly I do the bike. Mostly I do the bike, and I'm on my computer and, things like that. I've been watching movies like everybody has, right? And now we've got the screeners.
I know the screen, except I'm looking for something to binge. I have nothing to binge right now. I'm going crazy.
What about the Gilded Age?
I haven't started it. Do you like it?
It's interesting. It's interesting. I saw Belfast the other night. I loved it.
I liked it.
Really? You didn't like it?
I liked it. I didn't.
So charming.
The music really bothered me. It bothered me that they were using Van Morrison and it wasn't of the right time. It bothered me they were using music from the 80s in the 60s and I couldn't get past it. It really
I disassociated. I like the fact that it was that because it took away from the horror.
That's true.
Away. I mean, it's like even with us with the Holocaust, everything is a horror. Like right now we're building a museum in Tel Aviv, Israel, not to focus on all the deaths, but all the contributions of Jews in every area throughout the world.
I love that.
It's really important to see the brighter side. I kind of liked it. Because
by the way, everybody is screaming about how gorgeous you look and how fat. I have to tell you. I mean, like everybody. Oh my God, Rozzie looks amazing. Oh my God, Rozzie is so gorgeous. I mean, like everybody is just losing it. And I have to tell you, because if you don't know, you need to know. I was telling you before we went live, but you really look amazing.
Everybody says that to me. When I look in the mirror, I go fat.
No. You look gorgeous. So how are you doing? So no fresh air? How?
I get some fresh air. I go to the market. I go to the market.
You go to the market.
Sometimes I eat outside with a friend, but mostly a lot of the people I know are being very careful. I had a run-in with some new people that moved into my building, and I don't know if this guy was a workman in the building, was a contractor, or whether he's one of the apartments that moved. But he walked in with the mask underneath here, and I'm walking out of my elevator, and I said, "Do you mind? Could you really just put your mask over your nose? Would it bother you that much?" And they started laughing, and I said, "It's not funny." He said, "Get a life." I said, "I have one, and I'd like to keep it."
Good for you. Oh
I
my
mean, it's
God.
like, where is the respect, the responsibility? We have elderly people in this building. I mean, you don't do that. You have to have a little decency.
I do the mask thing
Yeah,
with people. So,
yeah,
so have you had to go to like I've had a lot of health stuff during this
yeah,
time. Have you gone to doctors and dentists and done all that?
I have. I always had to get tested. I had dental surgery the first year in August. I had dental surgery and I've been to doctor appointments, but they're always checked. And all the doctors that I go to, they space you and you're
Right.
COVID free and everybody's masked and everything. So it's been okay. You just, what made me nervous was going up in the elevator with people that I didn't know.
Right.
That is what freaked me out.
I walked upstairs in a number of medical buildings for the first year. I did. And they ushered me in for a test because I was nervous. There's one of the COVID crazies. That's what we call the people who the people who shoot the shit with me are the COVID crazies. And one of our women, Marge, went for like a CT scan at the beginning of the whole pandemic, and she got COVID, and she is still to this day having all kinds of heart issues because of COVID. Her
And she had
lungs,
no
her
heart issues before.
nothing. And she has been,
Yeah.
she's been like taken down by it. I mean, she's a thriver and she's getting through it all. But I mean, it's been one thing after another for 2 years.
Oh my God. It's
And
horrible.
just from going to get a CT scan and sitting in a
Right.
waiting room.
And how many people were in the waiting room?
A
How
bunch
far-
of people, and I think a whole bunch of them got COVID. It turned out the people that worked there had it, and then they gave it to the
Oh,
people
you know
in the
what?
waiting
I'm going
room.
to take back the fact that I didn't know anybody with COVID. My cousins,
Mhm.
they're doctors, and they had to work through this. And they did go through. Were vaccinated, but they also had a babysitter that brought it into their child. But thank God they're okay. But I'm hearing horror stories about down the line what it's causing.
The long hauler symptoms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very scary. So, okay. So your day. So, okay. Here's my big question for the day.
Yeah.
Have you been more, because I'm struggling with this, so I need to hear your answer, and I'm looking for guidance from Rozzie. So have you been
make a column guidance from
guidance from Rozzie? Have you been productive through this? And are you, because I've been paralyzed the last
I
few
have been,
months.
yeah, no, I have not. Like I said, I didn't go to the studio. I'm not traveling.
Are you able to, like, I haven't been writing. I haven't been doing ambition. I have not been doing ambition.
All that I'm doing is I'm engrossed in what's going on with our country as I was before and in the world. And that's where my head is at, because I worry about our democracy and I worry about what's going on in Congress. And, I was going to wear my shirt, like fight for what you believe in, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I really, because I feel very strongly, my music was dedicated to healing the world and
Save the country.
Save the country, light of love. I have one Harvest for the World that isn't out yet. And now I'm doing a couple of just love songs, but it just means so much to me. I love this country and I don't want us to lose our democracy. And I don't want it to go to people, to me, who are being misled and poisoned, just like in the days of the poisoning is like at that time.
Right.
The minorities, all the hatred that's going on, that worries me.
So where did this start with you, Rozzie? I know your sister's an activist, your nephew. Where in your family did this start? I know your grandfather was a cantor, as mine was. Was your mother an activist?
No, my mother was a hard worker. She worked in the school system. And she was a fighter. She was a fighter. She was tough, but funny. You didn't know how funny she was.
Tough how? How so?
Oh, she was very critical. And she wouldn't take, we're shooting the shit right now. She wouldn't take that from anybody. I mean, it's funny because a few years ago, before the pandemic, I had a reading with a medium. And
I want to
she
hear
said
about this.
both my mom and my grandmother came to her and she said, my God, you've got strong women in your family.
Wow.
Plenty of strong women. And I never thought of myself as strong. Never.
You're kidding me.
No, I never thought of myself as strong. Going through my mom's passing and caring for my mom, and certain things that I did made me realize that I was stronger than I thought I was. But I never would have called me strong. And I'm indecisive a lot. You know, it's like, what do you think? What do you think? It's like I can't, lately during COVID, it's like, I can't make up my mind. It's the weirdest thing.
Well, I think there's COVID.
Brain.
I think, yeah, but yes, I think there's COVID related paralysis, COVID related illness, COVID adjacent. It's like, you don't have to get COVID to
right
be under the muck here.
Yes.
So if not from your mother, and you weren't an activist in the 60s, as I recall.
It just took Donald Trump coming down an escalator. That's all it took. I'm a New Yorker. You're a New Yorker. We know what he was.
Right. So even when
you know more as time went on, and I had to fight against that. I did not want that. And look what he's done to this one man did. I mean, it was here, but he watered. He lit the match. He lit the match, and they all came from under the rocks, from everywhere. You know, at one point we said, "Well, let them come out, then we know who we're fighting." I wish they'd go under the rocks again. We got to get them to where they're running, because the hatred and the violence, and I mean, the people in Congress. Excuse me. And, you know, I hate to say it, you know, because it's a lot of not only misinformation, but there are people that don't have
brains
all here to know right from wrong, and to know when something is good and something is bad. And sometimes I worry that because the former president, you know, thought that he could do anything. And there are people out there that like that because they'll think they can get away with anything.
Why do you think he's made of Teflon? Why do you think he's still gotten away with it? Why isn't he behind bars? Why is this?
That every day of my life, every day of my life during this time, it's like, why isn't he in prison? Why isn't he extradited to Russia? Let him live there. He loves it so much. Let him go. You know, the whole bunch of them that want to create horror in this country. Let them go. We have people that have come here. We've always been an immigrant nation. We should welcome the differences. Growing up in Brooklyn, I welcomed the differences. I just got in contact again with one of my childhood friends who my sister was her babysitter. And then we worked in their family's Chinese restaurant, my sister, and I used to give lollipops out. And she's in Hawaii. And, you know, and she just emailed me. I mean, she Facebooked me. I mean, it's like, you know, we all got along. We didn't pull each other apart. We had a Protestant church within walking distance, a Catholic church, the temple. I don't know how to dislike. I like differences. When I was a kid and I was online waiting to buy tickets for Hard Day's Night in downtown Brooklyn, I met a black young lady online, and we struck up a friendship waiting for the tickets, and I invited her to my house. I mean, I just don't get it. Why can't you embrace the differences and learn to understand it and share and communicate?
So what do we do about this, Rozzie? So I know you were taking a stand through your music, and that's how you were addressing it.
That's what I'm addressing it. And I give and I talk to people, you know.
Where do you get your news? Where do you what's your news source? Your trusted news source?
Emails from the trusted, you know, and I'm an MSNBCer, you know, and CBS, and I read the news on my phone, you know, some of the news places. I get the Times, I get the Post. But I just, you know, because I have to be abreast. I have to be kept abreast of what's going on. I realized a couple of days I said I had to turn out because it's just too much. It's weighing so heavy. I still had that need because I had it on in the beginning 24/7.
So did I, but I'm not doing that now. Are you still like a news
I
junkie?
still have it in the back. Yeah, I'll be in another room. It'll still be on.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to know what's going down, and I love my, I love who I love. I love Adam Schiff.
So do I.
He went to school with my friend. And so
Really?
I've been to a lot of his fundraisers and he's such a good neshama.
I am
So good.
I'm
What
a
about
huge
Raskin?
fan.
Is Raskin not incredible?
Yes.
I mean, we have so many good ones. And I understand there's good and bad on both sides, but it really weighs heavy, the bad on the other side. The Democrats, to me, I'm sorry, they're more for the people. They are.
Less about the money. The right is all about the money for
and
me.
it's really, but it's really got to be about the people.
Mhm.
And I like I always said, I like people with heart. That's who I want around me. You don't have heart and you don't have any sensitivity and love within you and kindness. I don't want to know you. We all have to have that. We all have to reach out and what does it take? What does being kind take? Does it cost you anything to be nice? I sit sometimes on the phone with people that I'm talking to about whatever, companies or whatever. And I have a nice conversation with the person. Oh my God, this was fun. Just thank you.
Oh, yeah.
It's they lighten my life. I lighten theirs. What's wrong? Why do you have to be a miserable human being? Why can't you love? Why don't you let the light in?
And it's hard to be proactive in the middle of a pandemic. It's very trying and difficult. So, okay. So Rozzie, what does a day look like for you? Because you're mostly home. And you're saying you're not being ambitious with your career. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
I haven't for the 2 years because there's nothing I can do. I can't go to the studio. I don't have a studio to work in.
Right.
I don't want to be flying out of here, not knowing.
Could you go to the studio if just
I have plans that I'd like to get accomplished that I mentioned even during the pandemic, but I have to get it done. A lot of it requires my getting my recordings done.
And so even if it was just you and your one person or two people.
Yeah, but I don't want to go there, but yeah.
I know. I know. I get it. I totally get it. I have the same trepidation. So, okay. So you did finally go to Jason's house and spend time with him. What was that like when you finally?
A nice couple of nights. We ate out, we had great food, and it was just a change from LA. Beautiful, great air, great stars in the sky. At night we saw the Big Dipper, the Little Dipper. So my little Eli, my four-legged nephew.
Mm-hmm. But isn't it amazing to be in the company with another human being after you go so long with not? I mean, just to have another person to.
Well, it was him, and then we had another friend along too. So it was fun, and we walked in. We went to Salvang, and we went to Santa Ynez, and we just went to the neighboring towns and had dinner and walked around, and it was nice to get out a little bit. I haven't even been to a farmer's market.
I haven't either. So you got the booster. After you got the booster, did you have a sense of, okay, I can reemerge into the world a little bit? Did you reemerge into the world a little bit?
Yeah, it's about the same as I was before, with a friend having a lunch or something.
Right. And because Omicron sent me back into hiding and shut everything down again. Yeah. Do you have any sense of hope now?
I always have hope. I always have hope for the bright side, for better times ahead. You just got to get all of the people that live on this earth in tune with it. Because as long as there's those that are fighting against us becoming better, it's hard. And that's what we're fighting against too, the closed-minded, of what we need to do to get ahead, to move forward. And we've got to stop. Obviously, when we get the questionnaires, which you do the surveys for your the politics, what's first to you. I look at that list and I said, no, all of the above. There isn't any one thing we can ignore.
I totally agree. And how about with the pandemic? Do you think we're ever going to see an end to this? I mean, with all the variants and now we have the new one.
You know what? I have no idea. I'm going to hope that they get less and less. I hate to think that we have to constantly take boosters because like you and I, we're not vaccinating people on a normal day. But I can only hope and pray that we will have it under control at some point. I wish there was something I could do that would wake people up, or to make them think nobody's trying to put any kind of anything in their neck to identify them or to find them. They can find you on your phone wherever you are, you know?
Have you found, like, I'll be talking to someone on the phone about something and I look down and I get the ads on my Facebook 2 seconds later of what I was just talking about? Has that happened to you?
Oh, not when I was on the phone, only when I've done, like if I look on Instagram or something and I open up, oh, this looks interesting.
If you
or something.
If you say the words out loud, I'm telling you, it'll show up on your Facebook or on your Instagram. It's crazy. It's really scary.
Really?
Tony's just, Tova's asking, what do you think about what's going on with Russia and the Ukraine?
Horrified. I'm horrified. But do I believe Putin? No, I don't believe Putin. Actions speak louder than words. And I don't think in his head, he thinks he's a little man. We're saying all he has is the military. He doesn't have economy and all this and that. But there are other ways he can strike out. Russia's always been, I mean, you and I, we were there for the Cuban Missile Crisis when we were kids, right? That was probably one of the worst horrifying things that we went through. We didn't even know what our parents went through. World War I, World War II, but we went through Vietnam. And God, I'd like the day where there is absolutely no war and people can still make money without there having to be a war. Because they always used to say they make war so they can make money.
Right.
Why? Why can't we make money while everybody's happy? Otherwise, let's barter.
I'm all for barter.
Get the money, let's barter. And we have to stop Citizens United. We got to end it. The dark money is nishkit.
I love all the Yiddish. I love it. And whether you understand Yiddish or not, it's very like it's comprehensible. And so what do you think about this doping with the Olympian athlete, with the skater who's going to be on again?
It's happened once before, right? Where somebody was doped up. Was it also Russian, right?
I think so. Yeah. But what do you think about this girl? What is she, 15, 16 or something? She
should be taking drugs.
Is this thing that's three different things they gave her with her heart. But the thing is, how do we blame her? I mean,
you can't blame her. She doesn't know better. She's
a girl.
The adults around her. And then you have to say, what about her parents?
Well, I don't know if in Russia, if the parents get much of a voice.
If they matter. God, that's horrifying, isn't it?
I know, it is horrifying. But do you think she should be allowed to compete and she should be allowed to, because they're not going to let anybody, they're not going to give her award. She's going to get gold, they're saying. And then the other girls aren't going to get to take the podium.
That's not fair.
It's not fair.
Not fair.
No, it's not fair.
Somebody will say to me, what in life is fair? There's nothing, it's like, that's terrible. I would like all things to be fair. I would like everybody to be happy and have what they need without struggle. They're happy in what they do to work. They're happy families. There's love. There's kindness. If we could get people together without judging and with coming with a universal love, we could have heaven right here on earth. Why do we have to wait till we go?
Okay, so now your mother was this strong woman, very opinionated. I'm guessing that you didn't get all this from her. Where did this come from in you?
It came to me as an adult, as I'm living. I didn't have it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of my growth as a human being.
And so where did the interest, like I totally believe in mediums and all of that stuff. Where
a long time ago, when my life felt like it was falling apart. And I started, and I was always into getting my charts done and everything, but I was regressed in 1984. My marriage fell apart. I wasn't, my life just, I didn't know where it was going. And I was asking God, why am I here? You're giving me all these mixed messages. You make something happen, then you take it away. I lose it, I get it, I don't get it. I don't understand, because my life has been up and down and side to side. I haven't, I've grown as a human being though during that time. Maybe that's the point. Maybe that's what God meant for me to do. Not so much the success, major success, but to grow as a human being, to be a successful human being, be a successful person. But it started in 1984 when I went to get regressed to find out why I'm here. Why?
And what did you find out when you got regressed?
That I am here to heal. That I went back.
Have you done that in other lifetimes? Been a healer?
Yes. Yep, and I worked with dolphins. I mean, she told me.
Wow.
Several people have told me that afterwards. I had a life in Lemuria when I was regressed. That's the life I went back to. I didn't see my birth. I didn't see the canal. I just went straight back to one lifetime, and maybe that had to do with the question I wanted answered. And then at the end of the regret, I was like, my God, I'm a man. I was in a turban with pantaloons and sandals in a stone hut. And I was in a duel as a man over the love of my life with another man. And the woman, our beloved, accidentally got killed in the middle of the duel. So all through these lifetimes, I have been searching for that love.
Oh.
And it turns out in my word associations from it, it was all about world, harmony, unity, universality, love. That's what it was about. So it's like, as much as I would love to have a significant other in my life, I have lovely friends, and but it's been lonely. You're alone in the house during this pandemic, once in a blue moon. David is the only one I trusted in here because he also stayed home.
Right.
And we watched the Academy Awards together. We sat across from each other. But basically, I think that was the first eye-opening situation. And I started to read everything about life after death and psychic phenomena and different lifetimes. And I even talked to my rabbi, may he rest in peace, Alan Freeling, about it. And he said, who am I to say that it's not true? And I just feel that was my big moment where I came into realizing that it's not so much the career, but it's what I do with my music. And the medium said to me, she was getting chills up the back of her neck because she was saying, you heal people with your voice. She had no idea who I was. There were 10 people being read. The first girl she read, she was telling her about a watch that her brother gave her. And the girl was crying because she didn't know the brother died.
Wow.
And I mean, it was like, and then she came to me, she goes to whatever spirit wants to talk the loudest, right?
You were like at a seance kind of table? Or?
No, we were 10 people wanting to get read in a room, only first names. A friend of mine brought me there.
Was it like a party or something?
No, it was like a couple of hours, 10 people that didn't know. Well, I knew my friend and my friend knew this other girl, but we didn't know anybody else.
Wow. Yeah.
And, and so she said certain things. So you wanted to see her again on your own, right? But she said, my mother and my grandmother came through and she said the hair on her neck, she was getting the chills. You heal with your voice. And she said to me, you have so many more people you've touched many lives. You have so many more.
Wow. How long ago was this? 84? Was this in 84?
No, 84 was the regression. And then I started reading. Even when I was on the road, I read all the books that I could, Arthur Freed's book and this one's book and Seth and everything, all these people. And I could always tell when somebody was channeling something and it wasn't real. But
how so? Just a feeling?
Just the way they talked. And it's like when you ask them a question, they say, well, you should know. Really? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my big awakening. And I said, it's not so much about how much I make in this industry or how much I'm out. It's what I do with the quality of time and my voice.
Wow.
you know?
Okay,
And
so let's talk about your voice. Let's talk about okay, so you come from this family. Were you singing out of the box? Were you singing out of the womb?
yes, oh, we all did. Yeah, we sang at home. I mean, nothing serious. I did a couple of things in school, but I was very shy. I was so shy as a kid. And I was overweight and shy. You get called fatso. I mean, I'm not, I did. I got called fatso. And that hurts your feel. You go through all that insecurity growing
oh my
up.
God.
And I was very shy. And when I even thought it, and I used to sing in front of the mirror a lot. I would, play cast albums or movie albums, and I would create ballets to like Exodus music, and I would sing with albums, and I would be the guy and the girl and everything and act them out. And sometimes my mother would come home and she would go in front of me. She would like get in front of me in the mirror, and she would go to block me out.
Did your mother have a good voice?
Oh, gorgeous. That's where we get it from. She was the soprano.
Wow.
Total soprano. Then my sister is the closest to her, and then I come down lower in the register. But
and your brother didn't sing?
No, my brother didn't sing, but he was an artist. So he went to Pratt. He graduated from Pratt Institute, and he had his own advertising agency in New York.
Wow.
And then he got out of that, and he was in big mega real estate. That's how I know about Trump too.
Wow.
I know how people feel about him in his industry. But
So you were shy, you were singing at home. Did you take lessons?
I went for a little bit when I was in the business already, and I went to a guy named at Carnegie Hall, Carlo Minotti, because they said, to learn to breathe. He gave me more of a sore throat than I gave myself.
Oh God.
So I quit. And breathing developed just by singing,
And so I know that your professional career happened very young in high school. I know you cut your first record. How did that happen?
Well, I was doing demonstration records for my sister's publishing firm. So guy that was charge of the publishing firm, who later became my first manager, asked me if I wanted a career. Now, I was still overweight at this time and stuff. Anyway, we started auditioning for people. And I auditioned for RCA. And I auditioned for backers and all this kind of stuff. It was a very different business. You had to get money to back you to get you out there. Different business.
Uh-huh.
And we found backers, and so I was able to get clothes and get arrangements. You have to pay this back. This is just, whatever.
Right.
To start you off. But it gave me the tools to go out there. And then I got my deal. Harry Jenkins at RCA, who was the same guy that signed Elvis Presley to the label, signed me to the label. And on my graduation day from Julia Richmond, 12 noon, I sang Walking Down the Aisle to Pomp and Circumstance at 9 a.m. 12 noon, I was at RCA Studio B.
Wow.
New York City. That's how
Wow.
that happened.
And so did you not ask for help from your sister? You weren't going to do it that way?
No, I needed to be my own person. And, and I mean, if I wanted to ask her for some, in some way of it, but it's hard enough. And you don't want what she sees to be you.
Right.
And my thing was, how different can I be? I didn't think of myself as being like my sister. Other people came at me, oh, she sounds so much like her. Oh, she's this. That's my genes, honey. Like, there's certain things I can't get away from. But my approach in so many ways is different, although we are related.
Of course. And
you can't get away from certain things.
And so exciting things were happening. You did the Ed Sullivan show, which had to be crazy.
Yeah, especially on the day of the big blizzard. Everybody was stuck at home. And those that were stuck in the subway missed it.
Oh.
I had to walk to the 52nd Street Theater at Sullivan Theater in the blizzard to get there.
Oh my God. What did it do to your hair?
Well,
That's all.
my hair didn't get done till I got to the studio. They
Oh.
had makeup and hair and all that kind of stuff. And I did
Wow.
my first live show February 9th, 1969. And then I went in on the 10th to tape one that they showed later. And then the next day we flew out to San Francisco and I opened at the Hungry Eye in San Francisco in Ghirardelli Square. That was,
And so how much did that change your life having done Ed Sullivan? I would imagine that Ed Sullivan, huge deal. That were you getting recognized on the street and stuff?
oh yeah, well in the first place I got recognized in San Francisco in a coffee shop. The waitress goes, aren't you that Roslyn Kind, that Barbara Streisand sister?
Roslyn Kind.
Roslyn Kind. Roseland. You remember Roseland in New York?
Yes.
To this day, people sometimes don't know how to spell my name.
Well, we talked about this last time, but I still love Rozzie. I
would like to see it just Rozzie.
Me too. You don't need a last name. You're Rozzie.
No. And that's who I feel like. When somebody says Roslyn, I feel like they're mad at me. Or if they say, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Roslyn, I feel like I'm an old bag. It's like, I'm not that kind of person. I'm friendly, I think,
You are friendly. You're
unless
friendly
you're
and
a rotten
fun.
person, then I don't want to be your friend. But unless I can turn you over and make you better. But you can't really rule other people. You can only do for you, and hopefully maybe who you are as a person will reflect on somebody else and they'll like what they see and they'll want to emulate.
Absolutely. So it's about you being on your path and teaching through, I can't think of the word. I totally can't think of the word, but by example, you're leading by example.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, so I was watching today and I saw, again, I went on Twitter to make sure I had your handle right. And I saw the Nanny clip. How fun was that to do that?
That was a lot of fun. Had a lot
my
of
God.
fun show.
So adorable that
That
scene.
they used a trailer, a teaser before that was shown, and people thought it was my sister that was going to be on because they only showed the back. It was so funny.
So what was it like when you finally took to the stage with Barbara and you guys did the world?
Because as a kid, I used to harmonize with my sister. She taught me how to harmonize, although I'm terrible at it. I really don't like it.
Really?
I hate, I'm terrible at harmony. But it was incredible. I always wanted that, but people said, why don't? And I said, when I'm at a certain place in life, it'll happen. I've got to earn my stripes, Nobody can hand you anything. When I was starting out and I was already out there and I did Ed Sullivan, we just got clips from it. Somebody found clips from the Aznavour special that I did in France in 1969. And when I was going there to do Aznavour, it was a special with Dusty Springfield and I. In the south of France, at the beach at Saint-Tropez and Provence and all this up everywhere. We're going to try and put that together, maybe put that up somewhere.
Oh God, yes.
It was so fun seeing it again. But they wanted me in Paris at the Olympia. And I said, no, they don't want me. They want my sister's sister. Because I was not ready for a place like the Olympia. I hadn't had enough experience to, you know what I mean? It was like, taking advantage of the PR or something. No, I knew that I wasn't ready for that. So I was very careful.
How wise.
I didn't want to jump into anything that could be a big mistake.
Wow.
You grow into it because I'm still learning. Sometimes I picked up, the first time I picked up a mic, it was like I was shaking, until you get your feelers. And then I got, I did double entendres in my later years. I did all kinds of, it's very, it's a different performer. And you get older, you get mature, you have your experience behind you. And that's with all the mishaps that happen along the way when you have musicians who can't read music, who don't know how to play your music and stuff like, and you have to still do a show. These are all
Wow.
places to learn, levels of learning,
Wow. How was it stepping onto a Broadway stage for the first time and doing Broadway? What was that like?
It was kind of exciting.
Kind of?
Kind of exciting with Broadway. And the first time I did television, I was signed to ABC Paramount. And, Joyce Selznick, may she rest in peace, said to me, Rozzie, you may never have to play another night in the club as long as you live. I said, what? She said, and I was stealing the scene that I was working with these two guys because they had been working on it all week. She says, oh, guys, get it up. Rozzie's stealing it from you.
Wow.
And, so I knew I had a knack, but I still didn't totally feel secure in it, But I did take to it. I loved it. I loved actually television a lot because I actually, from the first day of working on it till the tape day, I lost 2 clothing sizes because my adrenaline was just so up there.
Wow.
So yeah. But it's all wonderful. It's all wonderful. I like the one-on-one with my audience. I like the one-on-one. I like to look in people's eyes, ones I can see. And I can always tell if somebody's not happy. And I kind of, if somebody's like in a strange mood or whatever, and I try to work towards them more.
Wow.
A bit. I guess that's part of the healer.
Sounds like it. What sign are you, Rozzie?
Capricorn with a Pisces rising and an Aquarian moon.
I'm thinking it's the Aquarian part of you, the Pisces too, because Capricorn is pretty ambitious. That doesn't strike me as the healer.
I'm not your normal Capricorn. I was told that a couple of years ago on my last, I'm not your normal. You have a very different chart, even where my Mars is and my Mercury. It's very different. And she said, and it's a very difficult path you've chosen in this lifetime.
Wow. So
not many people could work this path, she said to me.
So how do you see this playing out? Let's say pandemic aside, that we're finally going to get out of this thing before too long. What would be your ideal path from here? If you had your druthers, if you could choose your future, what would it be?
Oh, God, I always wanted a television series. I don't care if I'm the second banana, but I would love a television series. I like.
Is it drama? Is it comedy? Is it dramedy? What is it?
It's so funny because everybody liked my comedy. I remember trying out for soap operas, and the guy what was the guy's name that used to book all the soap operas years ago? He was an older guy. Can't remember his name now. I think he's gone. And he said to me, Roz, why do you want to do soap operas? You're so good at comedy. I said, my drama. My drama. And so, I mean, it's so funny, how other people see you. You may see yourself one way, they don't see you another. And some people don't get it at all.
And do you see yourself as a dramatic actress? Is that what you would choose?
I did do Milton Katselas wanted me to do Antigone.
Wow, I could see that.
He wanted me to do Antigone. So, you just go through life. You just, whatever the next door is that opens or whatever. And sometimes there's the lull, and sometimes you're not sure. And sometimes trusting is a big thing too. Trusting who you're working with, who they are, A lot of times people are in with the wrong people. There's been roads that have taken me into different paths that weren't right. And I had to, realize to come out of it. And I've always been the one that took myself out of it when I realized it wasn't right.
And are you okay with the day-to-day now as it is? What if this pandemic were to go on for another year or two? Are you okay doing what you're doing?
No, I'd probably go crazy.
Yeah.
No, I'd have to, I have to break out. I have to do. Because there are times, you know, in all honesty, there are days I'm up and there are days I'm a little depressed, you know.
And what do you do for that,
But
Rozzie?
I like connection. I like connection. And there are days where even the people I'm closest to, you don't hear from on a daily basis. You know, everybody's got their life.
Right.
And that, you know, and not having a significant other made a difference, you know.
Is that something you'd like for
I
your
don't
future?
know. You know what? Yes and no. I don't know at this stage. I know that, you know, one of the dreams I had when I was in Vegas and I met all the musicians, that some of them played for me, that played for Elvis. And they
Wow.
said that what they loved about working for Elvis is that was always a happening. And I said to myself, because of the healing and all that kind of stuff, I said, that's what I would like, to be on a mountaintop, not like Jesus, but, you know, singing. And it's not Rozzie that brings them to the mountain. It's the feeling, the message, you know, the resounding
Wow.
to the light. That would be what's bringing them. In other words, the universe working through me. Not me,
Wow.
you know, but, and to be able to garner that, that would be a major healing for all of us, because it helped, you know, it makes me very happy.
I love that. You have such a beautiful soul. So here we are, and it's February, and we don't know when this is going to stop. I mean, are you okay today? Are you okay next week doing this as it is? Is there anything you'd like to change now? I mean, like, I reached out to Anson because I said, I can't take it anymore. I have no ambition. I have no drive. I'm like, I feel like I'm just.
What did Anson tell you?
He told me to get off my ass and he said, all right. And he started ordering commands at me. And then he said, you know what? Just wait for it. If you don't know the answer, just relax and wait for it, which part of me thinks that's the answer, is just to wait till it comes, because it always comes. But it just feels like it's taking a really long time this time.
Yeah.
That I'm having a really hard time figuring out what I want to do next.
Has everything gone very smoothly most of your life until now, until this pandemic?
No.
Have you had waiting points during that time in your life?
So many.
Maybe that's why I'm acclimated, because it's been throughout my life, start and stop. Sometimes I think like I'm always auditioning again. It's like, where's the next step? I deserve the next step, but I keep having to re-audition. Why?
This is the story of my life. I was just sitting there and I was watching how a handful of people that I know have scored some really big deals in the last week or two. And I sat there and I'm happy for them, congratulate. And I'm like, what rock am I under that nothing can happen to me because I'm not. But it's like, how is this happening for people in the middle of the pandemic? I don't really understand, but
I don't know. They wanted me to come to Palm Springs and I said, I can't, it's still COVID. I don't trust it. I don't, they need you on that bill. I said, I can't, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to do that, to make that step.
I get it. I get it.
God forbid. And actually, when my rabbi's memorial was a few months ago, and it was actually the day I had my booster, I met with his wife. She was in for the memorial. And I said, well, maybe I feel brave enough. Maybe I feel brave enough to come because I did a piece. They used my song over the pictures of his life. And I did a piece on Zoom. I did a tribute to him. And I said, maybe I think I'm going to come. I'm going to try and come, but it's because it was going to be in the sanctuary. It's big enough. Not that many people as a sanctuary is big would be there. And then when I told her that night that I'm going to come, she says, Rozzie, do me a favor. Don't come. She says, you have stayed so careful and been so cautious this whole time. I don't know who's coming, who's flying in, where they've been. I would feel horrible if you came down with something. Because you came.
Yeah, I don't think I could have gone to the thing. Yeah, yeah. And lovely that she gave you that permission to be okay with that.
And she said it. She told the people that. She told them there at that I wanted to be there, but she told me not to come.
So you've seen Jason. Have you seen Elliot? Have you seen Barbara? Have you? Yes.
Yes.
So in that you feel safe.
Because we're all, yeah. I mean, Jason is, I would say was out in this world. Like he'll even say to me, I'm out there a little more than, than you are. He had more people that he was around because he did a video and he did, but I don't think he would not come by me if he was, he gets tested every so often when he wants.
Right.
So, and everybody else that I'm around.
Is Elliot like, has he been doing the home, I'm home alone, I'm not?
Well, he's not totally alone, but he's mostly home. I mean, I think everybody's been staying mostly in their element,
Has Barbara not been working through this?
Well, yeah, but what she does, she can do from the house. She doesn't.
Yeah.
You can't just walk in there. No, she's been very careful.
Well, maybe Rozzie, we can do a lunch outside, 6
I would
feet
love
apart
it.
at a really big table.
Oh, like Macron and Putin.
Kind of like that. And you can show me how to eat. I want to see all the supplements. I want to know who the
You bring
nutritionist is.
yours and I'll bring mine. And we can
Mine
compare.
are not as healthy as yours.
And if you want to know the nutritionist, we'll talk. I'll give you.
We have to talk because I want to know the I love you so much. And I'm sorry that we haven't been more focused on career and stuff, but I really wanted your perspective on life right now. And I think, and it all fits with you as the healer, because I feel a world of better than I did when we started an hour ago.
Aw.
And it's always wonderful to be in your company. And you could not look more gorgeous if you try. You absolutely have a glow. You look 25. You look like a little girl. Your skin is absolutely flawless. Your hair looks fantastic. You look gorgeous.
This is what happens when I don't dry it.
I love it.
And I had ringlets as a baby. I was like, what did they towhead when you couldn't see? It was so blonde. And I had ringlets, and then I had straight hair. And the first haircut my mother gave me, I started to get wavy hair. So I always have to do it with a dryer and pull it, but I don't know how to do it well. And during this time, aside from the fact that how many years we didn't go and have our nails done, and we didn't go to the hairdresser, and it was growing out from here to here, right? And my hairdresser said to me, Roz, don't use the hairdryer. Let your hair.
All right, now wait a minute. What have you done about the color? How you haven't gone to the hairdresser?
I have been to the hairdresser because I've done things on Zoom.
Right.
But where I go, it's very safe, and you have to be vaccinated. You had to always wear a mask. They had the plexiglass between every station, and only maybe 3 or 4 people in a big place.
Right.
Working, and the door is always open to outside. And so I did go get my little color touch up and my trim. But yeah, I mean,
we all have our priorities.
My hairdresser did. She got COVID. It was before I saw her. She didn't even know, and she had to get tested because she had to go to my sister, that's her hairdresser, and she couldn't get, so she had the monoclonal antibodies and all that kind of stuff. She went through that whole thing, and then she finally got inoculated. She didn't feel anything. She had no symptoms, nothing. She
really?
Didn't know if she didn't get tested.
Wow.
So thank God she's okay, because I gotta go again. But a little bit growing out here. But she's the one that said to me, let your hair heal. Don't use the blow dryer. So
you mean you don't even like scrunchy blow dry it? You do nothing?
No, I can scrunch it and make it a little bit, but without scrunching, it does this. What used to make me crazy is when I wanted it straight and it would go in every which direction, not the one I wanted.
Well, it's perfect. It's perfection. Let it go. Never use a blow dryer again. It's gorgeous on you. It is. I love you so much. I thank you so much for doing this. My pleasure. Anytime. I know. And I always say I'm going to call you and I don't, but I'm calling you. We're going to go. I want to have lunch. I want to have lunch like girls outside where it's safe, eating something healthy. Ladies who lunch. Ladies who lunch. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much
You
for
too,
making
sweetheart.
mine special.
Thank you for inviting me in today.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye.